Now the latest ITV News Central with Sameena Ali Khan and Bob Warman.
Hello and welcome to ITV News Central. On the programme tonight, the NEC in Birmingham announces its plan for a multi-million-pound development.
We need to put something down that really lasts generations upon generations, so we've been working on that.
The UK's first battery-operated train from the West Midlands is in Glasgow for the COP26 conference.
How the pandemic has made people have a change of career.
And join me later in the programme. I'll not only be bringing you the weather, but also the final film in our Weather Watch series.
Good evening. The National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham has unveiled its master plan to develop thousands of new houses, restaurants and a primary school in a new urban village.
The group behind the site say it could create thousands of local jobs and make a huge contribution to meet housing needs in the Midlands. Well, our reporter Rav Neetananda is there for us now. And, Rav, what more can you tell us about the plans?
Well, you can see this vibrant landscape behind me, and it's only going to get more vibrant. This master plan hopes to make the area of Birmingham a more inviting place for prospective home buyers. It'll include 5,000 new homes and hopefully house 11,000 people, a new hotel, restaurants, cafes and a new primary school, which hopes to make around 3,500 new local jobs. Now, the NEC group says that at the forefront of this plan, they want it to make it more greener and sustainable environment within a busy city. And they've certainly come a long way. It was 1976 when the Queen officially opened the National Exhibition Centre, boasting just 7 exhibition halls. 45 years on, and the NEC is home to some of the main attractions in Birmingham, bringing in millions of people from across the Midlands and beyond. Today, they're going even further. 15 years in the making, they've unveiled their master plan, transforming the NEC campus into an urban village, a place for work, play and rest.
What we've been working on is how can we utilise our land together with our partner who owns the land, Birmingham City Council, how we can make something sustainable and worthwhile for the environment. But also we've got high speed too. So we need to put something down that really lasts generations upon generations. So we've been working on that hopefully will build 5,000 new homes with a school, 35,000 square metres of commercial space, 14,000 square metres of new outdoor space.
The new plan will use over 27 hectares of surface level car parking and extra land to build on, with a key focus of using the existing woodland landscapes to encourage a new community to be outdoors.
We've got a huge housing issue that we need to meet, a great big number that we need to meet in the Midlands, but also nationally. And so by doing this on our brownfield site means that we can apply for planning straight away. And what we're not doing is we're not taking valuable greenbelt land that we must protect to build houses on. So we're actually helping deliver the targets that not only we need to meet regionally and locally, but nationally.
With HS2, Birmingham International Airport and a vast motorway network on its doorstep, the development seems an ideal spot. But these years of construction could cause more harm than good.
Any major redevelopment comes with an impact on the area, but the long-term vision that's been set out by the NEC group does represent that really exciting opportunity to create a new sustainable community, tap into things that we generally need as a local business community. That's increase in housing, increase in business premises, and create an even bigger destination out at the NEC campus site.
There's a long way to go yet, with the NEC group hoping to start the first phase of building in 2025. Now, there'll be a 6-week public consultation by Birmingham City Council from today until the 24th of December. It's a chance for people in the local area to have their say on the plans. The final master plan will then be published when the first phase of the urban village can begin.
Rodney, thank you very much for that report.
A father from Bromsgrove in Worcestershire has given his reaction to a damning report which has prevented a mental health hospital from taking new patients.
Yes, Jeremy's daughter Bethany left the hospital in Northampton in 2019, and he said he's sad that the hospital hasn't learned from his daughter's experience. Graham Stothard has this report.
For months, the only contact Jeremy had with his daughter was through a slot in a door. Beth left St Andrews in 2019, but the memories are harder to leave behind. Overwhelmed by her surroundings, she would often act out, triggering her autism in a way that the staff struggled to control.
They reacted by placing Beth in a seclusion cell. A room 10 feet by 12 feet, nothing in there but a blue hard mattress. I would visit Beth, I would have to kneel down at a hatch in a door and hold a hand. Beth was terrified by her experience, and that terror triggered more of the behaviour.
The report said people using the services didn't always feel safe. They told inspectors staff fell asleep when they were supposed to be observing, with women saying the long stay and rehabilitation wards often felt dangerous due to understaffing. It raised concerns that the leadership team had not addressed issues the CQC had highlighted at previous inspections, and lessons weren't being learned. This isn't the first time it's been found wanting. The adolescent service here was put into special measures in 2019. The same year, an overall inspection of the site rated it as requires improvement. In 2020, as the women's service was put into special measures, the men's service was rated as requires improvement as well. These latest inspections, around 18 months later, found little has changed. The women's service is still inadequate, and the men's requires improvement. The charity's chief executive stepped down last month from her £275,000 a year role. In a statement at the time, the charity seemed to believe that she'd made good progress, but a month on, and this report. We have asked St Andrews Healthcare if we could have an interview with them about the report, about its finding, but it's a request they have declined. They have, however, released a statement. The interim chief executive said, "I'd like to apologise to our patients as well as to their families and carers that we haven't been able to provide the care consistently across all our wards at all times. We accept that there are a number of areas where we need to improve, and we look forward to working with the CQC as part of commitment to improve."
I'm surprised. I'm saddened that they haven't taken the learning from my daughter's experience. To hear that the code of practice around seclusion still isn't being followed, despite that being one of the major things that was picked up in the investigations around Beth's seclusion.
Beth is doing much better now. She enjoys walks on the beach and fishing with her dad, hobbies which 2 years ago would have seemed impossible. Graham Stothard, ITV News.
A man's body has been found in the bushes near a tower block in Wolverhampton. It was discovered by police just after 5:30 yesterday evening near Hawthorne House in Cloverley. The body of the 44-year-old could have been there for more than 24 hours before it was found. His death is being treated as unexplained, and a 40-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the incident.
A teenager is critically ill in hospital after being attacked with a knife and axe in Walsall. It happened in a garage in Phoenix Business Park just off Stafford Street at around 6 o'clock yesterday evening. The 16-year-old was attacked by two men and left with a stab wound to his abdomen. Police are treating the attack as attempted murder, and they want anybody with information to come forward.
The ITV Evening News is on after us. With the details, here's Mary Nightingale.
Coming up on the programme, we reveal the hidden cost of Britain's housing crisis. Mould, cold and accidents contribute to a £1.4 billion bill for the NHS. We'll be hearing from some of those affected. Also ahead, new revelations in the Meghan versus the Mail on Sunday legal battle. And I'm still standing. Sir Elton bounces back from hip surgery to get a gong from Prince Charles. So do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
And still to come on our programme, Why a woman deciding to give up her career in law to bake cakes for a living.
Des has been in Cannock for the final edition of his Weather Watch series, and he'll also be here in the studio. First though, more electric car charging points will be popping up across Birmingham in the coming year. The council has agreed to install 3,000 of them across the city to achieve its goal of net zero greenhouse gases by 2030.
Parking charges have been one of the topics discussed at the COP26 conference in Glasgow. James Webster explains.
Across the UK, there are 35 million cars. The latest estimate is that just 600,000 of those are electric. That's less than 2%. As we move away from petrol and diesel, that percentage will increase. So, how are all those cars being charged? The latest figures show there are just under 26,000 public charging points. Only 5,000 of those are rapid ones that can recharge a vehicle in under an hour. But with sales of petrol and diesel cars due to be banned in the UK from 2030, we're going to need a rapid expansion in the number of places to charge our electric vehicles. It's estimated that eventually we'll need 3 million charging points. They'll soon be a much more familiar sight on our streets.
Well, meanwhile, the West Midlands has taken the UK's first battery-operated train and the country's first hydrogen fuel train to Glasgow.
It's hoped the technology will put the region on track towards a greener future. Charlotte Cross reports.
I'm here at Glasgow Central Railway Station, where it's very busy, as usual, with trains coming in and out. And this one is a little bit different. It's the UK's first battery-operated train, and it's come here for COP26 to showcase how the West Midlands can lead the way when it comes to green technology.
Trains are already one of the greenest forms of transport. But on stretches of the railway without overhead electric cables, highly polluting diesel trains are the only way to get from A to B. It's hoped these new models can change that.
Now, this particular train has got 6 batteries on, each with 100 kilowatt hours of power, and it can travel for up to 100 kilometres and recharge in under 10 minutes.
Under 10 minutes is
Under
amazing.
10 minutes, yes, and that is the key, because battery trains are a bit like, oh yeah, everyone knows about them. But that recharge rate really doesn't open up new swathes of the country ready to become emission-free.
Viva Rail is based near Stratford-upon-Avon in Warwickshire. They hope they can capitalise on the West Midlands manufacturing past as we travel towards a greener future.
Well, also here today to see how it all works is West Midlands Mayor Andy Streets. Hello, what do you make of all this?
You've got to say this is very exciting because it shows the key point about the West Midlands, that we will be able to contribute through our engineering prowess to the new technologies, the green technologies of the future.
So how big a role can the West Midlands play moving towards a carbon neutral future?
Oh, a huge role for us. Other regions may be famous for offshore wind or things like that, but what we've really got is the industrial and the engineering background to think about how the new technologies can be applied to methods of transport, to methods of energy storage, distribution. So I think we're right at the heart of the applying of all of this new technology.
Andy Street, thank you very much for joining us. Well, also on show here at Glasgow today is a different kind of green transport. This train is 30 years old but has been repurposed, instead of running on diesel or electric, to run on hydrogen.
It's the result of a joint project between the University of Birmingham and supplier Porterbrook. It has 30 hydrogen tanks on board, allowing it to change between electric and hydrogen power with the flick of a switch.
Well, green hydrogen emits water, so it's a complete zero in terms of the carbon emissions, and it's all part of creating an agenda which is already the very green and clean alternative of public transport in total emission outputs. But it's another opportunity to showcase future energy traction beyond just electrification, and of course the future replacement that we need to take forward on diesel.
With COP now in its final days, Boris Johnson headed back to the city as well, arriving via train this time. And taking a look around the prototypes on display was first on his agenda, giving him a glimpse of what could be the future of green travel, born in the West Midlands. Charlotte Cross, ITV News, Glasgow.
Right, well, let's change pace for the moment. The thought of life as a Romany gypsy often carries romantic images of a carefree life on the road. But now one woman from Gloucester is writing an account of what her childhood was really like travelling the country with her mother.
Kelly Horsley says their life on the road and fruit picking in the summer is now over, but she doesn't want their traditions to be forgotten. Ken Goodwin reports.
Kelly and her mother Lynn are visiting one of the orchards where they and their Romany family and friends would pick fruit every summer. The last time they were here was more than 30 years ago. Nothing has changed.
Who are you thinking of now while you're here?
Mum and Dad. Yeah, Mum and Dad, and also my aunt and everybody, you know, it's just... Sorry.
It's all right.
I can hear their voices. Come on now, come up here now. Got your rose picked out, you know, it's just lovely.
It was common for Romany gypsies to travel all over the country picking fruit during the season. It was hard work, but enjoyable being outdoors with all the family.
You know, all the memories is just flooding back, and it's like yesterday. I can't believe like it's been 30 years, roughly, since we've been in this orchard.
Lynn and her family particularly enjoyed plum picking in this orchard near Evesham, now owned by a charitable trust which saved it from being grubbed up and is preserving the old trees. And back in 1988, Lynn had to work fast because they were paid by the quantity of plums they picked.
It's just hard work.
Do you like your plum picking?
Yeah, it's all right.
Both Lynn and her daughter now live in houses in Gloucester. Their life on the road is long gone, but Kelly and her mother don't want to let the memories of the old Romany traditions fade away.
Yeah, that one there is my mum's sister and Aunt Topsy picking sprouts at Chippingamden.
When I was a baby, Mum always took me and my older brother. From when we were born, we was always in the pram, taking us to the fields. We'd go away every summer with my grandparents, working in the fields, plum picking, pea picking. We've done apple picking, strawberry picking, everything. But yeah, it's just a shame that my children won't experience the childhood that I experienced.
Lynn remembers how, after her mother died, they burnt the caravan she used to live in.
That was my mum's wishes. A lot of people don't do it now, but I mean, my mum was old-fashioned, and that's her wish, and we kept her wish. So that's what she wanted.
Watching that, it must have been incredibly emotional for you.
It's very sad, very emotional to see it, but that's her wish, and that's what we done.
And her son is learning some of the Roma words.
What's a sushi?
A rabbit.
Hotchi?
Hedgehog.
Fardo?
It's a wagon.
Romany gypsies share a common ancestry, migrating from the Punjab region of India more than 1400 years ago. It is a heritage that Kelly and her family are deeply proud of.
Oh, very proud, yeah, very proud. I feel a bit tearful now.
My roots is there, you know, I'll never forget who I am. If you've got a friend in a Romany, you've got a friend for life.
Some of the people and some of their old ways may have gone, but Kelly and her mother are determined that they will never be forgotten. Ken Goodwin, ITV News, Gloucester.
Golden age of life as a gypsy. It must have been pretty hard, though.
Yeah,
It must have been very hard times.
But what an insight as well, isn't it? And the fact that she said they had their roots in the Punjab in India, which is, of course, the great basket region of India, because that's where all the food is grown. And so it kind of runs through, doesn't it?
Indeed.
Lovely. Really interesting to see that. Now, to a subject that I think a lot of you may well relate to. It has been dubbed the Great Resignation. We have as well, by the way. Or the Big Quit, referring to the growing number of people leaving their jobs or embarking on a career change.
We're staying, by the way. I thought I'd mention that.
Now.
But it does seem that the pandemic has prompted many of us to reassess our lives and our professions, with new research showing almost 3/4 of workers would consider doing something else. Lauren Hall reports.
From commercial lawyer to cake maker. Chinolo Hour has mixed things up a bit recently.
My dream was to become a big-time commercial lawyer in the city. Along the way, I decided to think about flexibility and whether the law would give me the flexibility I wanted. I concluded it wouldn't.
She says she literally wanted to have her cake and eat it, or at least make it. So last year, she quit her job as a lawyer and has been baking ever since.
The thing I wanted was flexibility, and that's been the biggest thing that I've gained by running my own business. This way I get to sort of control what I do and how I do it, and I can see the immediate impact.
It's a trend that's been dubbed the Great Resignation. In a recent survey of workers, almost 3/4 say they're looking for a job or are open to new opportunities. A fifth say they don't enjoy their current employment, while more than a quarter say they're looking for a job just to see what's out there. For employers like Sarah Walker-Smith, it's more important than ever to improve work-life balance. She believes flexible working makes for a happier workforce at the law firm she runs, which has bases across the Midlands.
I think everybody's different, and I think that's a really, really important part of what we're trying to offer our people. We've got 1,000 people. They've all got different lifestyles, different needs, so we're trying to let them do what works for them. So some people are perhaps in 1 or 2 days a week, others want to be back more than that, some will go in less frequently, so it's got to be about what works for the individual.
The recruitment firm Reed says other employers should also be thinking of ways to retain staff and attract new talent.
So many people are in some way dissatisfied with their lives at work, and so many people are considering moving or perhaps open to opportunities should they arrive. So I think employers should be very alive to that, and they should make sure that people are fairly paid, and they should make sure that their terms and conditions are attractive wherever they can.
So employers need to sweeten the deal to keep hold of staff who may otherwise decide they've had their fill and go elsewhere. Lauren Hall, ITV News.
Silence speaks volumes, doesn't it? Anyway, let's move quickly on to the weather, shall we? Des has joined us, and you've been out meeting our weather watchers again, haven't you, Des? Tell us more.
I certainly have, and you know something, my heart this time is a little bit sad, and I'll tell you why, because this is the final film in this particular series. Hopefully we'll do some more next year, but I've been out and I met an absolutely stunning lady. She spent her entire life working for the NHS. Now she loves taking weather photos, but the way she takes photos, she conjures up in her mind's eye a certain shot. So let's take a look. Welcome to another in our Weather Watch series. I'm at Cannock Chase, and with its elevated heaths, unsport wilderness and cultural associations, it was designated an area of natural beauty way back in 1958. And at 26 square miles, it's the smallest of its kind in the UK. I'm about to meet a lady who sent in pictures like these. Beautiful is what they are, and her name is Sue Childs. I can see Sue now. Sue, great to see you. I've been looking forward to meeting you.
Yes, and you too, and you too.
This is your favourite spot for taking photos, yeah?
It is, yes.
Why is that?
The light and the colours, and it's just so beautiful all the year round. Whichever time of the season you come, it's always lovely.
And how often do you spend down here?
We try and come a couple of times a week. It's good for exercise and things like that, and well-being. It's just great.
That's
the husband and the dog as well.
Oh, brilliant stuff. Well, in that case, take me to your favourite spot.
Okay, it's over this way.
So yeah, I mean, weather photos, how does that make you feel when you take them?
Oh, it's a lift. You know, it's. I just like to see a photo, and every time I go anywhere, I actually see a photo in a frame. I look at the picture and I see that's what I want to take.
So that's what you picture in your head?
Yeah. So like now, there'll be a frame there, I can frame that. You just sort of see a frame when you see a picture.
That's like being an artist.
Well, yeah, probably is, yeah, more than likely. Yeah.
And is there any particular season that you prefer taking?
I do like autumn.
Do you?
Yes.
Why is that?
Because of the colours and the changing of the leaves and the trees, and like today we're lucky to have a blue sky. You get that in autumn.
And when you see other people's weather photos, what do you think of those?
Oh, they're lovely. I love other people's photos, yeah.
Any names ring a bell?
There's Maxine Houghton-Jones, Cliff Salt, I know that name.
Yeah.
There's a few other names as well that I recognise when they're on, yeah.
And what's the contrast? You know, you've got a busy life.
Yeah.
What's the contrast with, you know, having a busy life and taking photos. How does that make you feel?
It's fulfilling, really. It is nice to take photos and look back on them in years to come and how good they are, or the rubbish ones, you know, because there's always some rubbish ones. We've got a diary and a calendar and write it on the calendar so we don't forget where we've been or where we're going. We do that all the time, yes, we do.
What's that picture?
It's a fisherman.
Oh, brilliant. I know you brought some pictures. Let's go and take a look at those.
Yes, okay, we'll do.
Okay. The sun. Where did you take that from?
It was taken outside the back door. It was about 10 o'clock one morning in the middle of the week, and it was just like that, exactly like that. And it was a strange phenomenon.
Oh.
Yes.
How often do you use the word phenomenon?
Not very often.
In conversation, in life?
But it was just like that, really. It really was.
I think it's great if we went and took a photo that we could use on the programme.
Okay, will do.
Absolutely brilliant. Beautiful photos, weren't they?
Like they'd been painted, what you said, an artist.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. The time comes now for the big reveal. Let's see the photo that Sue took whilst we were there. Ta-da!
Oh, yes.
What do you reckon to that?
Yes, wonderful.
Absolutely beautiful.
I wish it was that time of year now.
I
But
know.
she's right about the colours in autumn.
Yeah.
They are lovely.
Absolutely
But
awesome.
That's gorgeous.
I know.
Too.
I could take my shoes off and just run through that grass right now. Oh, well, yeah, not a pretty thought, is it? Not a pretty thought. Let's just stay with the photograph, shall we? Anyway, listen, the time has come to talk about the weather. Is it going to get wet? Or let's find out why not just after this.
Making the most of it, whatever the weather. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Central Weather.
Well, certainly today we were able to enjoy another one with stunning temperatures, actually. In fact, all week, temperatures have been way above the average for the time of year. But you can just take a look at the backdrop that shows you during the overnight period, we're expecting patchy mist and fog. And it looks as though it's going to be fairly dense in a couple of places. A couple of photos to show you. This first one has been sent in by Andrew. Back in the mid-16th century, clergyman John Wesley, he said 20 years ago, there was but one house. Now there are 2 or 3 streets. It will grow into a fabulous town. This next picture, as you can see, a beautiful shot of the landscape of Birmingham, has actually been sent in by Jackie. Thank you very much indeed. Now, I do want to draw your attention to what's happening by the time we get into Thursday night into Friday, and we're following this deep area of low pressure. The winds have been fairly light of late, but look how tight those isobars are. Expect gusts 25, 30 miles an hour. On top of that, we're expecting rain. Bands of rain moving through, certainly for the morning. The afternoon looks slightly drier, but because these winds go around in an anti-clockwise direction, fortunately, we're continuing to pull them up from the southwest, which is a warm direction. Now, once you do head into the overnight store, we've got a fair amount of low cloud around towards the Staffordshire Hills. We are going to call that fog. It should be a dry night, temperatures dipping down to around 7 degrees, but also that fog is going to move further inland and towards our towns and cities. So you'll wake up, you'll commute into work tomorrow. Visibility could be fairly poor. Bright skies come through in the afternoon. Winds continue to be fairly light. Temperatures climb again to a whopping 13 degrees.
Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Central Weather.
And a reminder that you can see all of our Weather Watch report on our website, itv.com/central. We've been to Worcestershire, Sutton Coldfield and Shropshire on our travels far and wide. And there's also some interesting tips for you, so check the website out.
Great stuff. We're talking about career changes just now. Des.
Right.
You've had quite a few over the years, haven't you?
Crikey, Bob, I've had a fair few. I've been a welder at times, at power station. Oh, my goodness. I used to stack shelves in the supermarket at one time as well. Really, great. Always learning. Great to learn.
Yeah. And you, Sam?
What? As in, what would I do?
Would you? Yes. I mean, if you want, God forbid, would you have a career change?
Do you know what?
Go on.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, wow. Okay. Oh,
tell us more, Sam. Tell us more. What would you do? That's what I want to know.
I've just been told 15 seconds. Anyway, yeah, I'd love to do medicine again.
Tell us off.
Right. Okay, medicine is this.
What about you, Bob?
Oh, I just wish somebody had put a guitar in my hand at the age of 4, you know.
Brilliant.
Hey ho. Well, that's it from the team. Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.